So I thought I'd do just a quick update on where I'm at with my hiking loadout. I alluded to it in a previous video that I'm kind of moving to predefined setups. So part of what I'm doing is to put all my equipment into these kind of bags, and each bag has its own purpose. So the idea is that when I want to go hiking or tramping or canoeing or whatever it is I'm doing, I can choose the loadout that best suits the purpose, and having the loadouts predefined makes life a lot easier. So what I found is that it's a good way of repurposing old kit and focusing new kit on specific loadouts and tasks that I want to do. So for example, when I'm doing day hiking and short hill climbing trips, I usually want sort of like closer to lightweight, ultralight kit. When I'm doing motorcycle camping, car camping, I can carry a lot heavier things. If I'm in snow in the winter time, as it is now, then I might want a heavier tent rather than a bivvy, all of those kind of things. What I've kind of stopped doing was piling everything on the shelf and then trying to find things the day before the hike. What I found now is that it's actually easier for me to just pre-pack everything. Even when I'm traveling, like if I go overseas, I can just grab the appropriate travel bag and bung the things in and that I need, and I don't have to worry about anything. So the motorcycle camping is pretty much the same as the day hiking, and a mix of the overnight longer hiking, so I'm not going to really show that, and the car camping is just bigger bags really. So the way I'm doing it is, so this is, for example, this is a Kathmandu bag, but these are standard packing cubes of different shapes and sizes, and I found this one, that's my MacPack Bush Cocoon bivvy tent in there, and that's my Hillyberg Tarp 5, and then I've got the pegs and bits and pieces for that. So that actually goes in, this is my day hiking bag, the day hiking bag I've shown before. So basically it has my cooking stove on it, water bottle, my possible spouts and first aid kit, and inside I have waterproofs, that's my motorcycle gloves, waterproof trousers, and for some strange reason I've left a water bottle in there. Usually I empty those when I'm not using them, but that would go in there, and I'd probably have a spare one in the bag. And so this really, if I wanted to do an overnighter, it actually does go in here. I won't do it nice and organised, but it goes in, and that's gone in on top of a whole ton of other bits and pieces, and then I'd have some food in here, and usually I would take this, which is my electronics pouch, for my recording gear and batteries and bits and pieces. So that's fundamentally the purpose. So the same thing, I like to keep this on the bottom of the backpack, so it's my pack, and it's the old Fjellraven pack, and Singy 48 with side pockets. It's in a previous video, but I like to keep this on the bottom because this has got an openable bottom, and the very first thing I do when I find a campsite is usually put the tarp up with the two trekking poles, and then the bivvy goes inside it or beside it or wherever, and so that usually goes in the bottom. I know I really should put the heavier stuff upside that. So this whole thing weighs probably 1.5 kilograms. So can't remember how much the bush cocoon was. I can't remember if it was 500 or 800 or something. And the tarp's about 300 or 400 grams, and the bag itself is probably 100 grams. So we'll just say a kilogram and a half, make it easy. Then what the cat's sitting on, come on Henry. So this is my sleeping bag pouch, and what I want to do is, this again is the Kathmandu packing cube, mesh one, and what I want to do is just replace this with a waterproof one, because this is my sleeping equipment, so obviously if the bag gets wet you don't want sleeping equipment wet. But I've got a small sleeping bag in here. I think I've shown this in the previous video. So this is a 0 degrees sleeping bag, or 5 degree one. It's not a biggie. And then I've got my thermarest in here, a little pillow, and sleeping bag liner, so thermarest reactor. And this does me, because I'm sleeping in a small bivvy, I don't need to really keep a heavy duty sleeping bag for the warmth. So and if I did, I usually just layer up with some clothes, but I found the having a good mat is that insulates from the ground. It is actually means I can reduce the size of my sleeping bag. Now again, if it was snow on the ground and it was colder than 0 degrees, which around Canterbury where I am, it doesn't really get that much colder. We probably get snow every couple of years for maybe a day. Up in the mountains obviously it's going to be a little bit colder and more snowy, but this typically does me all year round. But I do actually have a down sleeping bag, I think, that goes down to -5 or so. I don't know what the comfort level is, but I very seldom use that, maybe once or twice a year. So this goes down the back of the backpack, and I wouldn't use this when I'm doing overnight day hikes. I actually have a either just the bivvy or just sleep inside the bivvy if I'm taking that, and I actually have a small military style bivvy that I can actually put in there in case I need one, and a poncho or whatever. So that's really for using the backpack, and this is also great for motorcycle camping as well, where I'll take the bigger tent. So this actually, I have a little top box, you would see it in other videos, and this just goes in the bottom, and I just pile stuff up on top of it. When I'm camping, this is another Fjellraven bag. This is my medical kit. So this one here is the boo-boo kit with just, painkiller and plasters and bits and pieces. But this one's a proper trauma kit, and it's got eye equipment on it, and suction bandages and various other things. And as I mentioned before, I need to go back on, do some more training and remember how to use a lot of the stuff. That goes with me. This is my wash kit. I take that as well, so shaving foam and sunscreen and toothbrush and comb and stuff. And then this green bag here, this is my motorcycle. This is a one-piece rain suit, heavy duty rain suit, and it packs down into there. And so what I had floating around somewhere, which I've probably lost, some over gloves, because I wear leather gloves and they tend to get wet over a period of time, so I've just got some over gloves that sit around on that. So that's really the idea. So eventually what I'll do is I'll take my other tent, which is the Acto, Helleberg Acto, and I'll put it in a slightly bigger bag than this, because it's maybe about 20% longer. That'll have my bigger tarp in it, my DD tarp, and pegs and poles. things, and then I'll have my bigger sleeping bag. I'm looking at getting another different type of mat and bits and pieces, so that'll be another one of these, similar, more of a DOP kit, wash kit, and just bits and pieces, and that'll go in the motorcycle thing. And then I've got a duffel bag, which for the car camping, everything just goes in there, and it's the duffel. And with the motorcycle, I can take my chair one, and I'll eventually save up and buy a cot one later on in the year or next year or something, if they're in stock. And then that gives me sort of like the different loadouts, and I've got my old backpack, and an even older, heavier canvas backpack from 20 or 25 years ago. So that's really what's happening now. The only thing missing is my food bag. So I've got two. I've got a little yellow one which I put snacks and overnight dehydrated meals that I make in, and then I'm going to make another packing cube style one which has more food, and it can go into a bigger bag, multi-day food. And then I've got the chili bin, or cooler as it's called in some countries, which can go in the car. And eventually what I want to do with that is get a powered one, and so a 12-volt battery style one. And my trailer, what I want to do with that is build a wooden like tiny home, which is probably 4 by 8 meters and feet in size. So what's that, a couple of meters by a few more meters in size, just so that it's like a teardrop camper, if you know those, but not a teardrop camper because I don't have that level of woodworking skills, but just something that I can stretch out in, put on the back of the car, put the canoe on top obviously, and just go away and not have to worry about tents and things like that. But I'm a tent fan. It saves money, it's a lot cheaper, but when you've got a bigger vehicle and you have to stay in campsites and paid campsites, which are relatively cheap here in New Zealand, you might as well take the additional luxuries with you. One day I would like to see my way to getting a bell tent, a large bell tent, do some of that style of camping, but at the moment this is where I'm at with it. So yes, that's really it. The only other change that I've made is that these are a pair of Montaigne Super Terra pants that I picked up the other day. So I've got the fjell waving leggings, which I pretty much wear all week long when I'm not working. They're super comfortable, and then what I'm wearing is these. So these are a lightweight version of my Vita Pros. So I'm not sure if you can see me there, but so basically the Vita Pros got the knee pads and the bum pad, and they're my bushcraft trousers, and these are pretty much a very similar material in terms of how they feel, and it's got the similar kind of pockets and things, but these are a little bit lighter and not so heavy duty. So these are really for cold weather hiking, when it's a little bit colder than wearing the leggings, and they probably could go over the leggings, but I actually have different thermal leggings under these at the moment, and so these kind of like work as a wind barrier. I could put my rain trousers over the top as well, and then I'll end up with 3 layers on. So these are really, really comfortable. I will do a review on them when I've got more of a bit of experience with them, but at the moment this is just really a filler video for where I'm going with my kit loadout and the various types of things that I want to do in the future.